So in today's video, I'm gonna combine a couple topics. I'm gonna give you a 6-month review on the Koala sofa bed. I'll talk about why I ended up getting a traditional bed, the one that I went with, and first impressions, completely unsponsored. I bought it with my own money. The last thing I'm gonna talk about is the next video topic coming up. So for those of you that have been following the channel, you'll probably remember that I came to Seattle for a trip in April.
They're levitating. There's dessert.
That trip was really to confirm the research that I did about this city and make sure it was the right move. While I was here, I actually saw this apartment complex. But something that I maybe didn't mention is I didn't see the unit itself in person. I only saw it on a video call. This is actually the video call I saw before moving here. It looked a little bit smaller than I'm finding out in person, where 419 square feet is actually pretty large. And I know some of you commented on the layout being a shoebox. This space is actually really well laid out in my opinion. The shotgun style kitchen and how everything is this square, you have so much usable wall space in here. To make a comparison, if you go back and watch the St. Louis studio that I had, I actually have more usable wall space in this smaller apartment than I did in that unit. And because of that, I loved the Koala sofa bed when I came across it. It gave me the flexibility to have something in a small space that I could both sit and sleep on and really stretch that out as a full-time bed to allow me to recoup some funds initially so I'm not buying everything at once. Eventually use it for a guest bed. Seattle's expensive. I'd like people to have fun when they do come visit and to be able to offer a queen size bed and allow people to save some money so they can spend that on food and like more of the experience. All right, so let's do a 6-month review of the Koala sofa bed. I love the minimal design. I love the pillows that flow over the arms. This round arm, when you are laying down on it and it having the extra pillow as well, you can lounge out for the most part. Now, I can only do that to a certain extent because this is a 70-inch sofa. I'm 6 foot tall, so my feet do hang off a little bit. But for me, I've still found it really comfortable. I did go with the Luxe fabric. It's in paper bark gray. I like this color. This Luxe fabric is a little bit more durable feeling. I like the texture of it compared to just the cotton or the other fabric available. I think it just made it look a little bit different. The material's held up great. I haven't noticed any more loose threads or anything like that 6 months in. It looks basically how it looked when I unboxed it. I haven't noticed divots from sitting in the sofa. I've been pretty good about balancing out, switching up the sides that I sit on. Overall, very low maintenance. I think based on my previous videos, I was going into it a little bit hot in terms of doing over maintenance. I think especially being single, I don't have pets, I don't have kids. My place is probably overly neat. There's not much I have to do outside of vacuuming it every once in a while and just making sure the fabric still smells good. That may change from household to household. So if you have kids, if you have pets and you did pick up one, it'd be really helpful for others if you did, comment for the sofa bed. It's been pretty comfortable. I was actually sleeping better than a traditional bed for about the first 4 months. I know you saw the video where I went over the crease and me feeling that particularly on my hip area, and moving the bed down slightly about that fist width away really helped in terms of a comfort level. Right at almost the 6-month mark is when I stopped being able to sleep through the night. I was noticing more discomfort in my hip. I haven't talked about it on this channel, but I had a motorcycle for a short period of time, flipped over the handlebars. I won't get into the whole story, but sometimes I'm walking upstairs and I get like a shooting pain in my hip. So certain pressure points on that hip area definitely bugged me and I need more support. My shoulder too. So when I flipped off the bike, I landed on my shoulder first and fractured it. There's still a bump, like my bone actually sticks out a little bit. Didn't really take into account initially, I need a little bit more support for things like that. In general, people might experience the same thing using it as a full-time bed. I think that's the main thing to distinguish here is full-time, when you're sleeping on a bed, you tend to gravitate somewhat towards the same spot. I typically gravitated towards the left side because I created like this little nook where it just felt comfortable in that area. I've said this to people in the comments too. I think this really comes down to body weight, height, sleeping position, there's so many factors when it comes to, let alone a traditional bed, but a sofa bed that doesn't have as much support. That's why I always hinted at getting the free trial to try it yourself, is I can only relay as much information as I can through camera. That crease I still see as a downfall of this sofa bed as a full-time bed. I don't think guests are really gonna notice it as much, and they're only gonna be using it for probably a few nights at the most, compared to me using it every single day for 6 months straight as a bed and as a sofa. Still really happy with it. I think it's gonna be a great guest bed for when people come visit. If you saw my first video, although you've seen Koala as a sponsor, this was purchased with my own money initially. This was not given to me for free. Okay, so why go back to a traditional mattress? Being in the space for a while, it's a lot bigger than I initially thought it was. It also helped me utilize almost every inch of this apartment. Now I do have some dead space over there, which I think a floor lamp would fit perfectly there. And it would give me some additional lighting to be able to film more of a cinematic shot at night. Everything that I've filmed so far has been on natural light or lights that were already in the apartment. The second one, more long-term support and comfort. A traditional bed is over here and a sofa bed is in this category. They're not the same. I wasn't blind to that in the beginning. Ultimately, I'm not surprised that I was finding discomfort in this sleeping as a full-time bed. I knew that it probably wouldn't give me the same support. I hoped that it would, just from a space saving aspect. Number 3 is future dating life. I haven't been dating since I've been here, but to me, there's nothing really sexy about bringing back someone to your apartment and you just have a sofa bed that you have to pull out.
She said she should leave.
I'm sure that's not a surprise to a lot of you. The next step was to do the dreaded research on actually finding a bed. This ties back to my first Koala sofa bed video, because that is the thing that I hated, because it's so oversaturated with different marketing and mattresses and all this BS out there that it was just always a pain in the ass researching which bed to get. Everything is so different, so it really comes down to just sleeping on it and making sure there's a good free trial period for you to test something out. As I started researching around the time that all the sales hit, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the initial ad was from Instagram. It sparked my interest enough. As much as I hate getting marketed to now, it fit my minimalist style. I mean, the ad was targeted to the right person. They had a lot of information out there for what seems to be kind of a new company. As soon as I got to their site, the few things that I noticed are very clear and straight to the point. It seemed to kind of get rid of some of the bullshit that you've seen on other sites. So it had a 99-day free trial. It had a limited 10-year warranty. And then it had what they call their 3-year no sink coverage. So within 3 years, if the bed feels like it has sunk in, they'll replace the mattress for free. So first impressions of the bed, and I'll start with this. It comes down to your sleeping position, your height, your body weight. I'm not a review channel. I just happen to review some things that I purchase and like. So again, I'm 6 foot, I'm about 165 pounds. I'm a side sleeper, and I'll show you what that looks like too, just so you can see my sleeping style. From what I read, it seems to be about a 6 out of 10 for firmness. It has springs in the bottom that's supposed to keep it a little bit more supportive. It does have some give that's actually very comfortable. One thing in particular is sleeping on my back. I'm not a back sleeper, but when I'm laying on my back for a certain period of time, I don't get that pain in my lower back that I would get on the sofa bed, specifically because of the crease and again, because it's a sofa bed, so there's not as much support there. I think a lot of people's issue with the bed in the box is they tend to sleep hot with the memory foam. I run cold, so I actually don't mind something like that because it keeps me warm at night. If you are the type of person that runs on the hotter side normally, people have commented that on Reddit, and I can drop a link to the thread that I saw when I was researching for my sleeping style and me running a little bit cold. I'm not waking up in a cold sweat at night. We'll see how that plays out in Seattle summer when it gets a little bit hotter and I don't have AC in here. But currently it's been right around, mid 40s to low 50s, and sleeping temperature has been fine at night. Again, hard to show on camera, but I'll try to give you a feel for just firmness. You can see the dip with me sitting down, so there is some give. Again, 6 foot, 165 pounds, side sleeper. So this is me starting on my back. And then if I move to my side, let's see what that looks like.
This is why it was hard with the sofa bed, is I noticed that crease because I normally lift my leg up, and that was right where that crease hit under my leg. So it was really putting pressure right here on the top of my hip. Very comfortable, just a good amount of give. And then if I do stomach, which I never sleep on my stomach, but clearly you can see the amount of give that's in here. And this one almost looks like there's too much on camera. But I think 6 out of 10 is pretty fair. You can tell that those springs, I don't feel them when I'm laying down, but I feel like that does give it a lot more support. I think 6 months from now would be a fair assessment just to see how it's holding up. Okay, so that's all I had planned today. This was a softball video to really get the year started. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you have additional questions about the bed that I got or the Koala sofa bed, drop them in the comments. I do my best to really go through and respond to as many people as I can. The next video topic that I'm gonna be talking about that I'm really excited, this was a big one that I've been thinking about for the past 6 months, is I ended up selling my RSX. It's a big topic for me that I think is gonna be cool to talk about. And I'm gonna talk about the cost of living difference moving from St. Louis to Seattle, and ultimately why I came to the decision to sell my car. Hopefully you enjoyed your holidays or any time off that you had, and I will see you on the next video. So for those, jeez. Ugh. I'm gonna, one more. During that, Jesus. Fucking duck.